At exactly 3:12 a.m., a man heard a voice coming from his ceiling. At first, he thought it was a dream, a fragment of a nightmare escaping into the real world, until it spoke again. It whispered his name, clear, cold, impossible. He lay frozen, staring at the white plaster. There was no crawl space, no attic, just solid concrete. "I'm watching you," it murmured, a sound like dry leaves scraping against a tombstone. He reached for the light, but his hand wouldn't move, paralyzed by a fear he couldn't name. Then, the ceiling began to ripple. Like water, something was trying to push through from the other side. Some secrets are better left unheard, especially the ones that know your name. His name was Ryan Keller. He had just moved into a small apartment. Cheap rent, quiet area. Everything seemed perfect. Except one thing. The ceiling above his bedroom had a small sealed panel, like something was hidden above it. The silence of the apartment suddenly felt heavy. What was behind that wood? Ryan couldn't shake the feeling that he wasn't alone in the new apartment. Ryan thought the new place would be a fresh start, a quiet corner to call his own. On the first night, Ryan woke up suddenly, 3:12 a.m. He didn't hear anything at first, just silence. Then, a faint sound, tap, from the ceiling. He tried to convince himself it was just the pipes. Old buildings make noise, right? But the rhythm was wrong. It wasn't dripping water. It sounded like fingers. He didn't see the shadow until he watched the footage back the next morning. Something was up there, and it had been waiting for the first night. Sleep well, Ryan. Ryan thought the first night was just a prank, or maybe a dream. But the tapping continued, night after night, always at the same time. The next night, it happened again, 3:12 a.m. But this time, it wasn't just tapping, it was a whisper, very faint, very slow, and it said, "Ryan." He froze. The air turned ice cold. He wasn't alone. Some things are better left in the dark. Don't look behind you. Ryan turned on the lights. Nothing there, no one in the apartment. He checked every single room in the apartment. Every door and every window was locked tight. And so he tried to convince himself of the truth. "It's just in my head." But the next night, the voice came back, louder, clearer. "Ryan, look up." He refused. He stayed still in bed, eyes closed, pretending he didn't hear it. For 5 nights straight, without fail. The same thing happened, same time. And then that same cold voice, always emanating from the ceiling above, always calling his name into the silence, and always saying, "Look up." On the 6th night, everything changed. Ryan decided to record it. He placed his phone beside him, camera facing the ceiling. It was exactly 3:11 a.m. Then the clock struck 3:12 a.m. The cold whisper started again, this time louder than ever. Ryan didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in evidence. This was his 10th night recording. Thousands of hours of silence, empty rooms, until the tapping started at 3:14 a.m. He felt a cold weight in the air. Something was watching him from the threshold. The recording captured everything. The silence, the tapping, then the voice. "Ryan, you're finally listening." Ryan slowly opened his eyes. But he still refused to look up. He knew he wasn't alone anymore. The experiment was over. The haunting had truly begun. The dark was reaching out. Some secrets should remain buried in the static. Some voices should never be heard. Ryan finally found his evidence, but he's not the one who's listening anymore. The tapping never stopped. It was just getting started. Silence filled the room, but it wasn't the peaceful kind. It was the heavy, suffocating silence that precedes a storm. Then something changed. The ceiling made a cracking sound. A thin line appeared, spreading slowly, like something was pushing from above. Whatever it was almost through. It started as a faint scratching, something that shouldn't be there. In the silence of the night, every sound is magnified. Every creak feels like a warning. Ryan tried to tell himself it was just the house settling, just the wind playing tricks on his mind. But the sound followed him, rhythmic, persistent, moving through the crawl space above. The air in the room felt heavy, like someone or something was breathing right above him. He tried to walk away, to just go to bed and forget he ever heard it. Ryan couldn't stop himself anymore. He looked up and froze, 2 glowing eyes staring down at him, staring right at him from deep inside the ceiling. It started with a thud, not a small sound, but a heavy, organic weight hitting the wood above. The air grew cold. The electronics began to fail. That's when I knew I wasn't alone. I looked up. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in the silence. Then the smell hit me, rotting wood and something much, much older. The ceiling panel broke open slightly, just a crack at first, and something began to move. Something that had no business being in my house. Long fingers, thinner than any human hand I'd ever seen, slowly reaching down, stretching toward him, reaching for the light, or maybe for something else. It's right here. It's always been right here. Ryan thought he was alone in the house. He was wrong. He set up the camera to prove he wasn't imagining the noises. It started as a faint scratching, a rhythmic sound that seemed to follow him from room to room. But tonight, the scratching stopped, and the silence was far worse than the noise. Unseen by him, the silent camera recorded every chilling moment. Ryan backing away, his breath hitching in his throat as the realization set in, the ceiling opening wider, a dark, hungry maw in the place where his home used to be. The thing crawling out, slow, deliberate, moving with a grace that shouldn't belong to something so distorted. Upside down, like it belonged there, watching, waiting. Everything in the video, and suddenly, no scream, no struggle. And after that, there was just silence. Ryan was never seen again. But when police reviewed the footage, they noticed something deeply disturbing. Right at the very end of the tape, the thing, it just stopped, looked directly into the camera, and whispered, "Now you've seen me too." So if you ever hear a voice coming from your ceiling at night, don't answer it, and whatever you do, don't look up. Because once you do, it won't stop watching you.